Hey, my name's Aaron White. I'm with J&A Home Buyers, and we buy houses in the greater Houston area, Katy, Texas area, and out west of Katy, Texas as well. In this video, we're going to be covering, do I sell a house to a realtor or do I sell to an investor? And what's the best route for me? We're going to be covering things like pricing, timing, condition of the sale. All the details you need to know are in this video. Now, J&A Home Buyers, we are actually investors and home buyers. We give you a cash offer on the purchase of your house, but we also have multiple realtors that work with us. So what sets us apart is that when we come talk to you, if it doesn't make sense for us to buy the house from you and give you the best terms and conditions and price that we can for you, we're going to refer to one of our realtors who will gladly help you list your property, get the top dollar and best terms for your property. Let's start talking about a few things to consider that you should look at when you're making a sale of your property. Number one, timing. When you're making a sale to an investor, investors can often close in as little as 7 days. They get through the title process. They don't have all the lender paperwork and things that they need to work through because they're making a cash offer. They can close very quickly. Realtors, on the other hand, may have 30 to 60 days in which they list your property, have multiple people come see it, they finally get an offer, and then typically it's about 30 days from the time that offer is signed until you close. And that goes up or down a little bit within a few days. So you might be looking at 60 to 90 days before you sell your property. That will vary largely on the market conditions. In 2021, we saw houses selling fast even when things were listed on the market, but today things are slowing down some, and that could change depending on your market conditions. Talk to your realtor. The other thing to consider is that when you're getting an offer from a person online on a listing, is that that offer may fall through due to different things. After they do an inspection, for example, they have an option period. They could opt out, and that's maybe 5-10 days after that offer was accepted, they could back out. They may also call the financing addendum. If for some reason their lender doesn't approve them or the house, they may actually back out and not purchase your house due to that financing addendum. And that's usually near the end of the 30 days, not the beginning. So maybe around 21 to 25 days is what we typically see in Houston for that financing addendum. Understanding your contract is really going to make a big difference there. So now we've covered timing, let's talk about price. Everybody wants top dollar for their house, but there's not only price to consider, you also need to consider things like fees and holding costs to your house. Now for price, when we look at price, realtors are actually the most incentivized to get you the top dollar for your home. This is because they get paid commission. So typically you're going to pay them a 6% commission to sell your property, and the seller pays all those commissions, not the buyer. So if they make more money, then you get more money as well, and therefore their incentives are aligned with yours to get top dollar. Investors, of course, have to be profitable in order to keep their doors open. So their objective is to get a profitable margin to keep their doors open, yet beat their competitors in that market, and that's how investors work for pricing. However, with fees, you need to understand that realtors will charge you that 6% commission. Investors, you're not going to see the commission typically on most contracts. Some companies like Open Door and other stuff may have fees in there. Make sure you read the offer in detail and ask them in detail about those fees that they're getting with that offer. At J&A Home Buyers, we don't have fees. That's what you get, is the price we offer you there. Some other things that may come in a retail offer are things like asking for you to pay for things like survey, HOA fees, maybe a home warranty fee, other terms and conditions like lender fees that they have from the buyer. That's very common to see those. There are all places for those in the contract that most any realtor writes when they're writing you an offer. Understanding those fees will really help you understand your bottom dollar that you're receiving on that house. Let's talk about carrying costs. When you own a house and you have it listed on the market, you're still paying things like utilities, you're still paying things like taxes and insurance. And in Texas, taxes are not cheap. We often don't think about it because we've just gotten so accustomed to paying for it, and we maybe pay it once a year, we pay it as a part of our escrow and our loan. But when you take a look at your taxes and add that up, divided by 3-4 months, it's usually a pretty sizable dollar number that we're talking about. And having your property listed for a long period of time, those costs do add up. Point number 3, let's talk about the condition of your home. Does your home need repairs? If it's an older home and it doesn't need repairs, it might be that it's outdated and it needs to be renovated to be like the houses in your neighborhood, and you might not get top dollar for that. If your realtor suggests that you repair certain things, there's often several reasons behind it. The number one reason that we see is that a lot of lenders will actually deny a loan based on certain repairs that are required for your house. If you have one of these issues on your house, we recommend that you either fix it immediately yourself or you sell to a cash investor like J&A Home Buyers, where we take care of all those problems. And again, we don't have lenders that require those repairs, so that's not an issue for us. Number one would be a roof. If you have a leaky roof or a roof with damaged shingles, you're not likely going to have a buyer that gets approved with a loan. It would have to be a cash buyer. Number two would be structural things like foundation issues, maybe cracks or drywall or holes in the drywall. Typically, the lenders will just shy away from buying any house with those issues that are in it. Number three would be plumbing issues and any kind of electrical issues with the property. If you have a leaky pipe or electrical fixtures that are not working, maybe a breaker or something that's broken, it's very frequently you'll have to have that repaired before that sale goes through. You may also have number four, which is the mold or any kind of mildew growth in the property. These are things that typically a lender will just shy away from, and they won't say, oh, it's a small space or anything like that. They will just not buy the house because it's too much risk for them to be able to evaluate that and hold that on their portfolio. These are less common issues for a lender to deny you on, but we do see this from time to time. If you may have some work ongoing, they may require you to show the permits for that work or recent work that you did be presented, and other things may be cosmetic issues. Some things, for example, may not be damaged about the house, but they may be strong odors. It could be pet odors or smoke smells. If you have a smoker in your house, that could be an issue. It could be stains or dirty paint, things that would typically delay the sale of the house. They may actually deny the buyer from purchasing your house if it's excessive. Again, remember who they're sending out to your property. The lender's sending out the appraiser to your property. They're not doing a full detailed inspection. But if they see things that would hold value on the property, the appraiser will note that down, and that could delay or maybe not allow your sale to go through. If you have one of those things, those are not issues for cash buyers or investors to typically buy and work through. At J&A Home Buyers, we've bought houses in all sorts of conditions. You name it, we've probably seen it, we've probably handled it before, and we'll be happy to talk to you about what we can do to buy your house from you today. Point number four, I want to talk to you about convenience of selling your home. When you're buying or selling, to a cash investor like J&A Home Buyers, it's very simple. We literally get to an agreement on price and the terms. We write the contract, we explain it to you, and that's it. All you need to do is just wait and until the closing date. Now, when you're selling with a realtor, it's a little bit different experience. You're going to have multiple people come into your house, and you're going to actually have to manage the times in which you show that property. The realtor doesn't usually do that for you because they don't know when you are going to be home and when you're not going to be home. So you'll be managing when people can come. You'll need to leave the house and come back in multiple times. You'll probably have to touch up a few repairs if they are needed. It's very common to need to repaint a few things or fix up a few things in order to get it market ready. There's other things too, which you'll need to go through a number of paperworks and forms that realtors need for you to fill out. Just their brokerages require those things to be filled out and detailed. Once it does go under contract, you'll be the one that's managing the conversations with the inspector and the appraisal that come to your property. You'll be the one handling all the questions that come from those people. You'll also probably get a few questions from people who just come in to see your house and wanting to understand what was done to the house, or maybe something they noticed while they were there that's coming up as well. Other things to consider is that you will be needing to keep your house clean and presentable, lights turned on in all the rooms so that it has the best showing possible for each person that comes through, and you'll need to find a way to live that way in a very clean, standard way. Another thing to keep in mind is that you'll be dealing with all of the negotiations and all of the requests for changes or altercations essentially to the contract. And this is because realtors are required in Texas to present all offers that come into you. It doesn't matter if the offer is for $1, it doesn't matter if it's $100,000 above your listing price. All of those offers have to be shown to you, and they can walk you through some of the decision-making process, maybe give you some advice if you ask them. However, there are certain things that realtors have by license where they have to show you those things. So you will be very involved in the negotiation process and talking through everything that comes your way. Last of all, when you do get a contract underway, there's often little things that are required in the contract. Maybe it's fixing up something, maybe it's turning in HOA documents, maybe it's giving a survey, maybe it's whatever. You're going to be responsible for whatever's on that contract, and whatever needs to be done there needs to be done by you, and you'll be working through that process. Again, when it comes to convenience, it's very convenient to sell to an investor because they handle a lot of these things for you, whereas a realtor may need you to help them with a number of things that is just standard or required by the state of Texas to do. Last of all, number 5 is negotiations. There's going to be a number of negotiations that you're going to go through when you're selling your house with a realtor that with an investor like J&A Homebuyers, it's just much simpler. If we can get to an agreement on the terms of the price and the time of the sale, there's not a lot of other things that are crammed into that offer that make it confusing and muddled up. So here are a lot of the main ones we could talk about. First of all is what is their option period and what is their period for financing addendum. Option period basically states that for the option period, if they just don't like the color of the paint and after they went back to look at it, they can just back out for any reason. They don't have to give you a reason. They can just back out because they don't want it. That's very commonly 7 to 10 days in Texas, and that could back out and start the process over again. Financing addendum, as we spoke about earlier, is the lender may not approve them, therefore they have the option to back out. And you'll need to negotiate how many days is it going to be. You're going to negotiate on things like closing date, and maybe they'll ask for the closing date to be changed for various reasons along the way. Maybe they need more time for moving or other factors that didn't come up as planned when they first made that offer. It's very common to see requests for repairs or a house to be cleaned or certain personal property items to be left behind. Maybe they liked your curtains or they liked your chair or your dining room table. They may work those into that offer and request those from you. Other things that they may negotiate on are who's going to pay the HOA fees, how much of them, and who's going to pay for the survey and all those kinds of details. Remember that when you're selling with a realtor, they have another professional realtor on the other side of that transaction who's very professionally trained to get the best terms for their client. And they're going to be dealing with professional to professional. So realtors can help you, listing realtors, like our realtors and our team, can help you through the process of working with those realtors. But keep in mind, they need to present all those offers to you, and you're still going to have to be involved in making the final decision on what is an acceptable offer for you and the best terms for you. Of course, all of these terms can be negotiated with an investor as well if you'd like to, but typically when we give you an offer, it's just here's your cash. We're not going to ask you for all sorts of little things here and there that take away from money in your pocket. It's just here's your price and this is what you get. So you understand what you're going to expect when we give you a cash offer from J&A Homebuyers. So selling to an investor can be easier in that sense as well from negotiation. Keep in mind, J&A Homebuyers, we buy houses in the greater Houston area. We are actually based in Katy, Texas, so we buy houses all west of Katy as well. Places like Tomball, Magnolia, Hempstead, and Belleville, Sealy, Texas, and on down. So if you have a house in that area and you're wanting to talk to somebody about your options, understand what is the best terms and conditions for you, talk to us. We may be able to help you either list the property or buy the house directly from you. And either way, our point is to make sure that you get the service that you need and the best terms and conditions and best dollars. What we've been told by other customers that we've helped and the title companies that we work with is that we have a lot of really good methods that we've used and structures to our business that enable us to get you the best dollar and the best terms for you and your house. Give us a call, fill out the form on our website, and we'll be glad to have one of our specialists get in touch with you soon.